I told everyone, like, teams we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you, simply, they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this longer round, it would have gone. It was very close. Then he fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the check hook, which prevails. And then he fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's bicep snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Mario Schwag, very poor. He just underestimated, but Marius really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Luck is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
Right then, are we live? I think we're live. Man, my hair. I need to sort my hair out, man. I need a haircut so bad. But yeah, we're live, I think, and in colour. I had to change my shirt because it's getting hot in here, so yeah, we're going to be live reacting to Okolie versus Glowacki, live on Sky Sports. You can find that there. If anyone's looking for the stream, it's on live TV, Sky Sports. Eddie Hearn presenting a card on Saturday. We had some fights on last night, which were decent, to be fair. Watched quite a few of them. We've got Ellie Scottney in the ring right now against Mylees Gangloff. Mylees, I thought, would fight a little bit differently because she's in for the French Championship in about a month or so. So I don't think she's wanting to be on the end of a knockout. It might stop her from fighting for that title. She's lost it before. Well, she fought for it before and lost. So I don't know what a knockout or maybe like a cut or anything like that could do to her chances of getting in the ring in a month's time to fight for that title. But yeah, we've got Ellie Scottney in the ring now against Mylees Gangloff. We just saw Chris Billen-Smith versus Vasyl Dukar. We saw Brad Rare versus Lee Cutler, and it was Ramla Ali against Beck Connolly as well. Last King of Scotland is in here. What's your prediction for a Okolie fight, Ames, mate? I'm going to go with the status quo, which seems to be from everyone that Okolie's going to win. I think Okolie does finish him off. Probably like in the mid rounds, probably around like round 8, 9. Round 7, 8, probably actually as opposed to 8, 9. I'm not writing off Glowacki. The experience that Glowacki brings to the fight is something that Okolie lacks, and it will be Okolie's toughest opponent. But I just think Glowacki is definitely there for the taking, especially seeing him take some big shots from Myris Bradis. I think Okolie's got that type of power, if not a little bit stronger. So if Okolie lands with the right hand, which I think he will, I think Okolie will walk him onto one, and I can see Okolie getting the finish by around 7 or 8, or even earlier, to be fair. But as I said, there is also the potential for this to come crashing down on Lawrence. I will not rule out Glowacki, especially as we've seen some of the recent matchroom fights, and some of them, you know, falling from the highest highs. Like, for example, Josh Warrington, who got blasted out by Mauricio Lara, again with Robbie Davis Jr. against Gabriel Valenzuela. So I think the potential is there for it to go wrong because of that experience factor. And even when Okolie gets Glowacki into trouble, he still has to be wary about those, you know, little veteran things, little holding, being able to fight on the inside, get themselves and navigate themselves out of, you know, any potential whirlwinds that they might find themselves in. So Okolie has to be wary at all times, even if he gets Glowacki hurt. But that being said, I think the stage has been set, nicely been set for fighting someone like Glowacki at this stage in his career, coming off the fights he has had for Lawrence, to make a statement, fight a bit at long range, at least let, you know, the full length of his punches go, and instead of clinching, getting a KO victory within the distance and capturing the WBO Cruiserweight Championship. So That's my opinion. That's my take right now on the fight. I just hope it's going to be at least entertaining. I don't want to be... I think a lot of these fights, well, most of these fights will end up points. I think Fowler Forte probably goes to points. If anything, Fowler might get the stoppage late. Cordina versus Korbanov will go to points. Is there another one on there? There might be another one on there. Anyway, I think we might be in for quite a bit of a long one, essentially. But yeah, Lawrence Okolie versus Glowacki. I'm giving it to Lawrence Okolie. I think he's got the best chance he has to capture a world title. Adam Booth saying lovely work to Ellis Scotney as we go into the third, the fourth round. It's the third round. Third round, 2 minutes rounds each. Ellis Scotney in the centre of the ring. Saw Beck Connolly earlier. She had a losing effort against Ramla Ali, which is it's not a shame because she was definitely the losing fighter there, but she's very likable. She's very, very likable, Beck is. And she took the fight on ridiculously short notice. I think it was 6 days. But fighters do what they've got to do to get a payday. Ramla Ali needed an opponent. They tried to negotiate at a higher weight, but Beck couldn't get down there, so they agreed to do it at, like, what was it, 126, I think it was. But they got the fight done, and to be fair, it's quite impressive, Ramla. Ramla's obviously 7-12, so you're going for late. I'll just go into that in a minute. Yeah, I was quite impressed by Ramla because she's quite likable, she's quite nice, talks very well. She's got the opportunity, she's in these adverts, isn't she? She's in these adverts for the hair products and that, and she's got a wonderful story behind her as well. So they're very much building the profile of her to be a star outside the ring, especially for women. You know, I think she's been on interviews for, like, she's on British Vogue, isn't she, as well? So, but I was also impressed by the spite that she showed. Like, she had Beck Connolly hurt and she was ready to throw. She was wanting to get her out of there. So I like that bit about her. I will just say, looking at these two fighters here, Ellis Scotney and Ramla Ali, these are two fighters who could conceivably fight each other. And Ellis Scotney seems much more suited to the pro game than Ramla Ali does. Ramla might be going back to see if she can represent GB. But if they're to fight now, I think Ramla's still got a bit of that amateur kind of style and kind of builds off of combinations, lets the combination settle, takes a step back and then comes back into another combination. Whereas Ellis Scotney just seems more suited to the pro style. You can see that kind of under Adam Booth here. Lawrence Okolie all smiles right now as he clenches his fists. He's getting his hands wrapped. The McGuigan camp, good start so far. Crispin Smith winning against Vasyl Dukar. Tough fight that was, billed as a tough fight, and Crispin Smith might be a little bit disappointed not to have stepped on the gas a bit and got the stoppage after dropping his opponent twice. Not that it was going that way, but having dropped his opponent twice, he could have probably, if you're being quite critical, got the finish. But he seemed to empty the tank in the 6th round. 1 second, I've just got a thingy. I'm messing. Yeah, so the 6th round, he seemed to, like, follow forward and try to get the stoppage, but wasn't able to. And from the 6th round, like the 7th, you thought he was taking a off round, but then the 8th, 9th as well, he just seemed to have gassed. And to be fair, he looked tired from the 3rd. Dukar came on stronger, and he was taking a few shots. Crispin Smith was. I mean, he was showing, to be fair, that he's got a chin, which is good. You want to have a chin, especially in the cruiserweight division. However, he was showing that he was quite open. It reminded me a bit of Dubois in a way that he was kind of methodically kind of coming forward, a bit predictable in his punches, a little bit robotic, a little bit static, lack of head movement, lack of upper body movement in a way, and just kind of following his opponent. But he did pick some nice shots. The uppercut was a problem for Crispin Smith. Especially, I thought that was a bit strange, especially as Crispin Smith was very adept in using the uppercut against Craig Glover. But he wasn't as adept in knowing when it was coming and then blocking the uppercut from Vasyl Dukar. And he shipped the uppercuts, he shipped left hooks, and he shipped right hands. At one point, I think it was in the second round, a right hand caught him and he kind of stumbled, and then it happened again, I think, in the 9th. And those two know each other. Those two know each other because Chris went over to spar Myris Bridis. And Vasyl Dukar was there in the Bridis camp. So they both had the opportunity to watch each other and observe their strengths and weaknesses. And I think that probably played into it. Apparently they were, I think Chris was saying to me that he was offered to spar with Dukar, but the Bridis camp didn't want it because they were there to spar Bridis, not each other. So they could have had the opportunity there to find out more about each other. But Bridis said no. Which is by the by, really. I suppose they're there for a job and they're paid to come over to help Bridis in his efforts to win a world title. Went for Okolie by KO in round 7 to 12. 5-2, decent price. As you know, I'm not a betting man. So I don't partake in it. Is that Rob Tobit in the background there? Probably is. Looks like it. Yeah, I'm not a betting man. But I wish you the best in your betting endeavours. So I don't really know what 5-2 means. But hopefully it comes through to you. Is that Lawrence's dad? Who's this?
Okolie carrying the flag for British Cruiserweight Champion. I was going to tell one thing, it's a great feeling. I have no doubt in my mind who will do it. The belt's yours, mate. Go and get it.
Oh, Carl Thompson. Bit before my time. Don't know too much about Carl. But nice words of encouragement from Carl to Lawrence. Yeah, look, following the steps of, you know, your David Hayes, Tony Bellews, and getting world titles, Lawrence can, again, like I was saying with Ramla Ali, Lawrence is building a profile as well. Like, outside of the ring, he's doing rapping, and he got, like, I think 200,000 views and counting on Grime Daily for his track. That's not to be sniffed at all. He's got a book coming out as well, which caught the eye of Fern Cotton, which is like transitioning over to the mainstream media. And he's got a good story as well, talking about like bullying and coming out of, you know, being quite heavy. Is why he got into boxing and then used it to lose weight. And then from using it as his primary focus to lose weight, he's transitioned that in itself to becoming on the verge of becoming the world champion. So it's a good little story there for Lawrence. And I think they're trying to build that package around him and make him kind of a transitional star into the mainstream media. He can talk well. He's quite charismatic. The problem with Lawrence is the track record of being in not non-entertaining fights. You know, the clinching, the hugging, Okolie asking. Okolie Chamberlain wasn't great to watch either. That's the issue there. And I think with McGuigan and Lawrence, they've identified that as an issue. You know, in the all-round package of Lawrence Okolie. Yes, of course, it just kind of matters you winning and going from there. Because if you win, you got the world title. The commercial value of having a world title, someone to take a picture with, is massive. But you just need to get the win. But if you're looking to transition and people coming over to see you as well, you need to be entertaining. And they've identified that. I spoke to Lawrence and he said that, look, I want a winning style. And I want people to forget that I've had terrible fights. And I'm looking to do that. So it's good for, especially with fighters who can have egos, you know, about themselves. Lawrence has identified that as a weakness about him in his overall game, in terms of being entertaining, and is looking to address that. Now we'll see if he addresses that tonight. I can forgive him for not really addressing to that tonight, and you know, just winning the title and going from there, and then in other efforts being a bit more entertaining, because it's just about really getting the title at this point. And then you can kind of improve from there. But if they choose to do that in this camp for this fight, then that's even that little bit more impressive. So we'll see what happens with Lawrence. Good fighter nonetheless. He'll be the first of that Team GB lot, won't he, to win that title. Anthony Fowler was picked for big things, but Fowler's been stopped in his tracks by Scott Fitzgerald. And even though Scott Fitzgerald has had mental health issues which have taken him outside the ring, Fowler could have used that time to kick on, and he really hasn't. He's kind of just stuttered. He fought that Tete on roller skates, I think it was, And then he fought Adam Harper, who was just, you know, not on the level of Anthony Fowler. So we'll see what happens with Forte. Forte is a decent fighter. He's looking to box on the back foot, as far as I've been told, and outbox Anthony Fowler to a points decision. He's a good fighter. He's quite rated highly in Spain. And we'll see. It'll be a good win. It'll be quite impressive, to be fair. Fowler stops him, like puts him out there. But anything from Fowler that progresses him forward will be good for him. I think it might be a step towards the direction of fighting Sergio Garcia, a compatriot of Spain. Makes kind of sense going on to fight him. Although I think there's also the avenues of fighting like your Ted Cheesemans of the world and things like that with Anthony Fowler. I think he'll want that. Or the winner of Cheeseman Metcalf, that kind of thing. So we'll see with Anthony. Aaron's asking, how do you get subtitles on this? I think what you got to do is click up the little settings wheel. And then when you click the settings wheel, some options will come up, and there's options for subtitles. I don't know if there's subtitles for live. Or if there is, the voice recognition technology might be a bit crap. But let me know if that works for you. Do us a favour and smash the like button, as that helps me out if you're in here. I expect to see probably a few more people in here as we go along towards the main event. But if we do, we don't, doesn't matter. It's all good. 6th round, 20 seconds left of Ellie Scotney versus Miley Skangalov. Scotney's going to win this on points. And Miley Skangalov has, well, it looks like she's about to survive. Well, not survive, but, you know, get through unscathed, really. With a loss, but unscathed in terms of her ambition to win the French title. But Scotney looks good. Scotney looks really good, to be fair. I think Anthony Fowler versus Jorge Forte is next. So we'll go to Anthony Fowler. This is what Anthony Fowler told me when I spoke to him earlier in the week. 30 years old. I'm sure it's in your mind now. It's time to kick on and looking at getting as high as you can within the sport.
Yeah, of course. I'm ranked in the top 15 on 2 of the governing bodies. The other that I'm fighting on Saturday is ranked in the IBF, so I'll be ranking 3. Hopefully, it'll come through it. So we're getting there slowly. Obviously, as it went the way I wanted it, as smooth. But like you said, this year is a critical year. But I want big fights. I want to test myself and see how good I am. How good I am.
You gave an interview to a Polish outlet, and you said about Lawrence that he hasn't been in difficult times. He doesn't have the mentality, and the mentality will be key, and he hasn't had the experiences of that you have had. What do you see in Lawrence that you think you can exploit?
Definitely my advantage, because I've been on the highest master level, and I fought with the best fighters, and well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so unfortunately that's not an option for Yaron, so yeah. I don't know why you need the subtitles and one that coming through clearly. Is that what it is? Yeah, so we're just getting the results here. Scotney and Gangloff. 59-55. Ellie Scotney takes the victory, as was kind of what the plan was, I suppose. Posed a couple of questions, answered them pretty well, showed what she was about. Enjoyable enough performance. She's not far off a world title, such as the situation with women's boxing, like with a lack of depth in talent and lack of just female boxers in general. You're not too far off a world title. We've seen with Ebony Bridges, she's fought some subpar opposition recently, and due to the pulling out of Rachel Ball, unfortunately, because of her COVID, not her recovering from COVID, Ebony Bridges steps in and fights for a vacant world title against Shannon Courtney, which is just... You'd criticize it in general, but you sort of get it as well, what with the lack of talent, I suppose. It's going to take some time for people to come through, like they have come through with the women's MMA. But in time it will come through. Back in a bit for the main event, Ainsworth. Yeah, no worries, no problem. All good. Good to see you in here. If you're popping in or out, just make sure you smash the like button as it helps me in the algorithm show up. I think quite a few people are streaming tonight, so not expecting too much. Let's get this text chat box up. Why isn't that showing? It's up top, so it should show. I'm not sure why. It doesn't matter too much. Yeah, so it's Fowler and Forte, and that's Last King of Scotland is saying there. Not a lot of people like Anthony Fowler. I think it's the CBD stuff, some of the comments he makes, maybe the overall confidence, some of the stuff that was said in the build-up between Fowler and Fitzgerald. But they were both at it, to be fair. And then maybe some people think that Anthony has a lack of understanding as to where he is. But to be fair, when I spoke to him about, critics saying that, he's really stuttered and he hasn't pushed on, and for the talent that he does have, he should be doing better. And he kind of agreed, to be fair. He said fair enough about it. He said, I agree with the critics, I haven't pushed on. And this is coming from a guy who, admittedly, he doesn't need boxing. He said it himself. He's got 3 or 4 businesses outside of boxing which are doing really well for him. One of them being the CBD business. I think he does construction as well. That might be Ted Cheeseman, to be fair. But he's got 3 or 4 businesses. Right now, he doesn't need to box. So he's doing this, for the money, I suppose, still, but then looking to achieve. And I could conceivably see, if it doesn't go Fowler's way, him retiring and just being like, look, it's not worked out for me. I've got a lot more going on in the background. I don't really need to box to, keep myself afloat. So you never know down the line with Anthony, but I think he wants to give it that push. He acknowledges that this is a critical year for him and he has to do something. There we go. That's showing up on the thing. So let's get this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. And we'll put that there. Cool. So yeah, Anthony's got to win in this fight. And when it comes to those those fights where it could go either way, where it's like a career pathway kind of fight, like if he fights Fitzgerald again, he cannot afford another loss to Scott Fitzgerald. Another loss to Scott Fitzgerald for Anthony Fowler, and I think he's done, to be fair. But with the inactivity of Scott, I think they're looking to give him a fight and then have the rematch down there. But I was speaking to Rob Tebbett for Boxing News TV, and I asked him, does he need to take does he have to take the Scott Fitzgerald fight? Because it's kind of been built up. We've kept talking about it. Fowler keeps talking about it. He hasn't drawn a line under it, and nor has he kicked on from it where he's a level above that fight or doesn't need that fight. So whilst Rob kind of batted it off and said, look, he doesn't, he can go for Sergio Garcia, he can go for Ted Cheeseman. There are other options in super welterweight, which is correct. The fact of the matter is, still, he's contended that he still wants it, and he hasn't pushed on from that level yet. A win over Adam Harper doesn't do that for you. A win over Tete doesn't do that. Arguably, a win over Jorge Forte doesn't do that. It puts you in a better direction, but still doesn't do that. So I still think that makes a lot of sense for them. No, he doesn't have to take it, but my point is he hasn't pushed on to the point where it says no, he doesn't need it, because he's a couple of levels above that. He's not at European level yet. If he was at European level, then you wouldn't even ask the question, because he'd be above it. Well, you'd still ask the question, wouldn't you? But he'd be above it, which is my point. Can you tell me the name so I can write a Facebook status about it? Anthony Fowler is the Scouse guy. Jorge Forte is the Spanish guy. They're in next. No controversies just yet. So, but we're seeing a little bit of fun in the changing room between McGuigan and Anthony Fowler. He's had to live for this camp, or in the camps that he's with Shane McGuigan at University of Kent. So he's been living with students in student accommodation, which is quite funny, to be fair. Can't be the most conducive environments to training for, real sporting competition. But I suppose he's in the best kind of place right now with that, because students aren't going out. They're not coming bladdered from nights out and waking them up and stuff, so... But yeah, a couple of people picking Jorge Fortea, so we'll see if he can spring what would be the upset, I suppose. I need to see what's happening with Artur Beterbiev as well. Beterbiev's fighting. Got to keep an eye on that. Let's have a look what people are saying online. Alan Smith back in now for commentary. Let's have a look. Artur Beterbiev. He's fighting Adam Dean. Is in what was a bit of a easy kind of mandatory. Anything can happen in the sport, but he was expecting that Artur Beterbiev knocked him out. Artur Beterbiev doing a fine job. Passionate Gold Monster just was everyone at 175. What's happening here? Come on. I want to see who won. But yeah, let's search that. Dancing his way to the ring, Jorge Fortea in Spanish colours. The kind of orangey red and the yellow colours of Spain. Any news on Beterbiev? Anthony Fowler walking to the ring, he just does the cross sign. I can't see it, doesn't matter. We'll get to it later. If you're in here and you haven't already, please do hit the like button. Anthony Fowler's coming out now, walking in. Got Maurice Hooker and Virgil Ortiz as well a little bit later. Expecting Virgil Ortiz to knock out Maurice Hooker. There were some apparent problems with the scales, to be fair. I think he had to make weight at the second attempt. He did do. Talk of him losing the title on scales, but he did do won it. Not won it, sorry, he came through. Shane McGuigan's second outing of the night of his 3 outings. Jorge Fortea and Anthony Fowler. Chris Billen Smith in a winning effort against Vasyl Dukov. Tough fight that there was for Chris Billen Smith. Tougher than it could have been. A little bit disappointed not to get the stoppage, I assume. But he was very much someone who was brought in there to give Billen Smith the rounds there and challenge him. Official introductions in now. Both fighters are in the ring. Still trying to find out about Artur Beterbiev. Nothing about him at all. So yeah, let's just go back to Anthony Fowler whilst we're waiting. Here's what he said about the fight to me a couple of days ago. 30 years old, I'm sure it's in your mind now. It's time to kick on and looking at getting as high as you can within the sport.
Yeah, of course. I'm ranked in the top 15 on 2 of the governing bodies. The other that I'm fighting on Saturday is ranked in the IBF, so I'll be ranking 3. Hopefully it'll come through it. So we're getting there slowly. Obviously, as it went the way I wanted it, as smooth, but like you said, this year is a critical year. But I want big fights. I want to test myself and see how good I am.
That's Anthony Fowler there admitting it's a critical year for him. And that means that this is a critical fight for Anthony. So he's got to come through with a win. heavily tattooed here, looking like Randy Orton. A Las Vegas tattoo I can see there. Was that a bulldog with a snapback? Yep. 2 faces, a cross, a V in there as well. Fowler like never looks like properly ripped though, does he, on the scales? He never looks like, you know, like properly ripped, does he? I'm not saying he does his weight or anything wrong, but I just think it's his body type in general. Talk about him, you know, moving up to middleweight potentially, but he'd be a small middleweight. He really would be. And he was saying about Josh Kelly, like, Josh Kelly, if he came up to super welterweight, would only be at like domestic level, British level kind of thing. He wouldn't go on any further, which is quite critical to be fair of Anthony. But he might be right there. We'll see. The proof will be in the pudding, and see what Josh Kelly does if he moves up to super welter after that defeat by David Avanesian. Referee's giving his instructions. Fowler and Forte are looking at each other in the eye. Forte about 2 inches shorter than Fowler. The touch gloves red and blue. Red from Anthony and blue from Jorge Forte. Bell for the first round rings. Forte has lost a couple of times. One early-ish in his career, and one a couple of fights ago, I think it was. Or it might have been the last fight against Bakram Murtazaliev, who's tipped by a lot of people to win world honors down the line. So it was a decision loss for Fortea. So anything better for Fowler would really be quite the statement. But Fowler in the front, on the front foot, pushing Forte to the back of the ropes. Double jab, right hand, just pinning him on the ropes. Nothing landing clean. Right hand to the body lands though for Anthony. Jorge buys back some ring real estate, gets back towards the center, but then just takes a step back towards the ropes. Jab to the body for Fowler. Couple of feints here from Anthony. Another jab to the body. That hand is very low from Anthony. The lead jab hand is very low. So a right hand counter from Forte is open, but he's not electing to throw it. There's an overhand left hand from Forte which lands. It's a good shot, but it's a shot that's trying to keep Anthony Fowler off of him. Left hook to the body was a little bit low from Anthony. He gets telling off from the referee to keep him up. Jorge just smiling a little bit. Minute 20 left of the first round. Right hand, left hook to the body again. All kind of body work really from Anthony so far. Again a little bit low. Jab again to the body. Jab again up top this time. As Forte missed with a jab, Anthony Fowler made him pay with a jab and return up top. Right hand misses. Jab misses as well from Anthony. The jab lands this time though. Uppercut to the body from Forte lands. Bit predictable with that jab and right hand. Forte sort of come in and was able to dip down out of the way of the jab and the right hander. Oh, nice little leaping left hook there from Forte. Good shot. Shot of the round so far. So twice he's hit him with a left hand shot. One was kind of looping over left hook. Overhand, sorry. And the other one was like... It wasn't fully clean, but it was clean enough for it to be a telling shot. So nice start there. Fowler did raise his hand a bit, kind of trying to proclaim that he won the round. Getting a cat advert, featherweight. Never used featherweight myself. Not for me, for the cat. Second round, bell rings. Fortea jumped forward with the right hand and Fowler let go a 2-punch combination which landed to the body of Fortea. It's a good shot as he was coming forward. Fowler's doing well to cut off the ring and to stop Fortea from moving around as much. But when he gets his opponent in those places, he's not really landing anything off of it. Left hook to the body, then up to the head. Blocked by Fortea. Jab lands. The jab straight to the chest has been the most landed option for Fowler so far. Everything else is kind of just missed, to be fair. Trade of jabs there. Fortea's lands better. Steps in with an uppercut to the chest. Good shot there from Jorge. Yeah, Fortea looks really comfortable. Left hook, right hand over the top though lands for Anthony. Good chopping right hand over the top as Fortea was dipping down. Those change of levels, I think Anthony just hasn't quite adapted to that change of levels so far. Left hook to the body lands again. Again, a little bit low. Jab lands there for Anthony. Jab again. Yeah, just off the jab with that right hand is because of that dip low to the right from Fortea. It's just offsetting and making that right hand miss. Pouring out with that jab again, trying to find it. Stepping forward with a feint. Stepping forward, jab to the body. Right hand to the body there from Anthony, and a left hook to the body. Left hook landed for Fortea, did it? And Anthony looked in a little bit of trouble there. Left hook to the body lands for Anthony. Jab for Jorge, jab for both of them. Right hand lands on the gloves. Right hook left to the body lands. Right hand up top, gets through the guard. Jab to the body lands for Jorge. Big intake of, well, not a big intake of breath, but intake of breath there for Anthony. And yeah, interesting round that one. Fowler's not having this all his own way, which is posing him questions. This is what we want for Anthony. We don't want it to be easy. If he's going to get up to those higher levels, he has to come through the likes of Jorge Fortea. Otherwise, you're British level at best. So he's got a lot on his hands here. Not an easy task here. Excuse me. Cutting to Dylan White at home, having a drink. Chisora's there as well. I think they'll do an announcement about Chisora Parker. There he is. There's Derek. Bell for the third round. Double jab again from Anthony Fowler. There's a bit of reddening around the left eye of Jorge Fortea, and that's because the guard of Jorge is solid, but because Anthony keeps knocking on the guard, the occasional shot will come through, and the right hand landed a couple of times. There's a right hand. Good right hand there off the end of a combination. It's like a 5-punch combination. The majority of the shots left, but he's thrown 5 to land 1, and the one that landed, the right hand, did land well. And he's doing well to work the body as well when the head's been quite elusive. Bit of pull counter there, but there was no counter on the end of the pull from Anthony. Gets reprimanded for a hit into the back of the head of Jorge. For Jorge even. There's a lot better movement coming from Jorge though, and you can see the difference in terms of levels of movement. Shane McGuigan's grounded Anthony Fowler a lot more. And that's showing here in that Jorge's able to maneuver his way around the ring, around Fowler. Even at points in when he's been put against the ropes. Right hand lands for Anthony. Right hand lands on a counter from Jorge Fortea. That was a good shot. And it is, as Adam Smith is picking up on, it's the left hand that's low. As I said at the start of the first round, that counter right hand is open for Anthony. If he's trying to set a trap there and kind of counter him with his own right hand, that might be what he's trying to do. But at the moment, he's not done that. And that right hand's landed. The left hand has landed as well. Quite well from in the early round. 1 minute left of the third round. They're in the centre of the ring. He tries to hit that overhand right. This time, Anthony Fowler was able to move out of the way of it. And then counter with the right hand of his own. Jab to the body. Corner, Fortea calling for a double jab. Oh, was that a left hook that landed? Left hook counter landed, and it's just planted Jorge in his ass. I don't know what happened there. It happened really fast. Need to see that one again. That kind of came out of the blue. Right, big right hand lands for Anthony Fowler, and he's dropped Jorge Fortea. And I think this is going to be over. Yeah, I think Fortea is done. Fortea's been knocked out by Anthony Fowler. And fair play to him. That's an impressive victory for Anthony Fowler. It kind of looked the way of going to points there with the way that Fortea was going around the ring. It didn't really look like he was in any danger. But then like a counter landed for Anthony. I think it was a left hook, and it just destroyed Jorge. And he's been very sharp in training. Shane McGuigan's been saying that. I know that he's been sparring a certain fighter that was supposed to fight. I won't say, actually, I'll take that back. He was he was sparring a fighter recently who might have been having a fight maybe this week, maybe a couple of weeks in advance, and absolutely destroyed that person. And he's followed that through. And he's now shown that in the ring with a really good knockout, to be fair, of Jorge Fortea. Remember, this is a guy that Murtazaliev went the full distance with. I want to see a replay of that first knockdown. Really good win there. Here we go. Replay now. Jab. It's a jab. It's a jab off a wild left hook thrown by Fortea. Yeah, fair play, to be honest with you. He's used the momentum of Jorge, who's thrown a left hook, and he throws a jab at the same time. And the solid jab, just totally... a bit strange. The right hand was a big right hand. That was fair. But, weird. Lawrence celebrating the knockout. So far, Chris Bill and Smith of the McGuigan camp has won. Fowler's won. And now they're waiting for Okolie after the Cordina fight to come through and make it a trio of wins for the McGuigan camp. We'll see what Anthony Fowler says. He can talk really well, Carney. We'll see what it says after that. Interesting. Talking about the football, Watford won today. Norwich drew. Swansea lost. Big win for Watford in our bid to get promoted. Interesting. We're getting Enzo Macronelli in here, who might be on the verge of a comeback himself. He's been training. Word is that a certain promoter wants to get him back in the ring. We'll see if he comes back. He's talking now, I think, Anthony. Come on, Adam. I just want to hear Anthony. Stop believing in himself. Bit of a confidence. See, this is what I'm saying with Anthony. At least in the last year or so, he's kind of just got a grasp of where he is. A bit of humility. Like, I haven't disliked Anthony, but there are a lot of people that do dislike him. And this bit of a humility and bit of awareness of where he is will do him well. Sergio, Scott, Cheeseman Metcalf winner. Yeah, Sergio Garcia makes sense, I think. If the Scott Fitzgerald fight isn't happening, draw a line under it, stop talking about it, and move on to Sergio Garcia. Ted Cheeseman wasn't able to do it. Fortea looking... That win over Fortea is looking really good, especially as Murtazaliev wasn't able to get him out of there. So, interesting. Yeah, Eddie's talking about waiting for Scott Fitzgerald, but you're the one that's Eddie's the one that's putting it to Anthony and like having that carrot there and making him wait his career out for Scott Fitzgerald, telling him, no, the fight's gonna happen, the fight's gonna happen next, the fight's gonna happen next. Just fuck it off, man. It's not gonna happen, and let him move on to, because he should have been here already off the back of that Scott Fitzgerald thing, and we should know if he's at European level or not by now. So TKO for Artur Beterbiev. Let's see what happened. In 1 round and in 10. So it's 10th round knockout for Beterbiev, who Deans wasn't too far off going a distance. Down in round 1 as well.
Available. He tried so hard, but all went out the window in that one. Congratulations to him, though. A really sunny finish. Tony, you mentioned about Crispin.
Florian Marcus saying, my English is better than Fowler. Fucking hell.
Fowler's a really good finisher. I've seen it. Dave used to work with him on all the time. Dave worked on various elements of Anthony Fowler's game. The weaknesses when he first came and then made them best. So he made them all-round best fighter tonight.
Yeah, it's even better in slow-mo, to be fair. It looked a bit strange, but it's a great shot that he's picked at the right time. And that right hand as well. Forte went to throw a left hook. Fowler came over the top of the left hook and landed quicker than Forte. And stopped him. Well, knocked him out even. Forte don't look bothered, man. Doesn't look bothered at all. Brian Rose has won on points over in Spain. Getting more of Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew, the Scouser, has joined OnlyFans. Can you believe it? I'll be subscribing to his OnlyFans and not. Yeah, I accept that he's growing up a little bit. A bit less of the mouthy Fowler that we've had in the past. A bit more of a mature Fowler. He's a cousin of Robbie Fowler, isn't he? Don't think he's been to one of his fights yet, though. Joe Cordina versus Farouk Korbanov next. This is the penultimate fight before we get to Lawrence Okolie versus Krzysztof Glowacki. Hopefully Cordina can stop him. It'd be nice to get that stoppage so we can go straight to Okolie Glowacki. But I expect that it will go the distance. Although I expected probably that Fowler would go the distance with Forte, so fuck knows what I'm saying. But yeah, let's have a look at what Lawrence Okolie's been saying. I just want to quickly hone in on the biggest criticism as you as a fighter, in that your fights aren't the most entertaining to watch on what is going to be the biggest stage of your career. Is there any want for you to shed that tag of not being an entertaining fighter?
Yes, quite simply. Yeah, I'll be honest. Obviously, with time, obviously that stuff becomes more clear. But I think if I can get a good knockout here in a exciting, I don't want it to be too exciting in terms of give and take, but I want it to be exciting in terms of me giving. I think it will be difficult with the run of form that I've had. I think I've had like 4 sole knockouts in a row. I can't remember how many. I'm winning a world title by knockout. I think it would be difficult for people to, you know, hold on to the past. It was, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, but we'll see.
Okay, so Double X Raisins Double X is saying, when is the main fight? Sorry, I don't understand. I am from Germany. Okay, so I did a little bit of German in GCSE level, so if you're talking about Okolie versus Glowacki, the main event, beginnt in 30 Minuten. 30 Minuten, I think. It's about 30 minutes. Yeah, Okolie Glowacki 30 Minuten. How about that? How about that? That's my GCSE German coming into play there, if you're still in here. So yeah, in about 30 minutes we'll get the main event. Joe Cordina, good fighter, a lot of talent, looking to push on to world honours within the year. In a tough division though. Lots of good fighters in his division. So it'll be a tough ask for Joe Cordina. It's a shame that he's got Martin J. Ward who's in the same stable as him, kind of that bit ahead of him. And I think they're trying to get the, like, Rakimov fought Jojo Diaz for the title and it was a draw. And they were ordering Rakimov versus Ogawa for that vacant title. And they had until the 17th of March to make an agreement. Joe Cordina said apparently they're trying to get Martin J. Ward in for that title. So we'll see what happens there if they get Rakimov versus Martin J. Ward in for that title. But it's a bit of a shame that it's just that little bit behind, because it could have been him boxing for that. So yeah, 30 minutes time. 30 Minuten if you're still in here. If you're not, then no worries. Whilst we're waiting, I'm going to quickly pop to the toilet, so I'll drop in a little one of these.
So when people talk about karma and all this law of attraction, this woman came round to my house one time. She's always going on about the universe. You know, she's always writing like Facebook statuses saying, if you put this out into the universe will send this back to you. So I said to her, what do you know about the universe? What does E equals MC squared mean? And she was like, E equals M is let me just have a look on Google. So I said, don't bother looking on Google. You tell me what E equals MC squared means. You're always going on about the universe. I've done a little open universe. I've done a little shit course, you know, physics. So I know what it means. What do you know about a proton? That's what I said to her. Or an electron.
That's probably Rob in there, isn't it? Aaron the name. It's probably Rob, the German guy. Give me a little bit of troll. Right, they're doing a little introduction before Joe Cordina gets to the ring. Anthony Fowler winning against Jorge Fortea. Let's see what Glowacki's got to say. 30 years old. Oh, you gave an interview to a Polish outlet, and you said about Lawrence that he hasn't been in difficult times. He doesn't have the mentality, and the mentality will be key, and he hasn't had the experiences of that you have had. What do you see in Lawrence that you think you can exploit?
Definitely my advantage, because I've been on the highest master level and I fought with the best fighters, and well, we'll see how it goes.
As if I just done that again. Oh my god. Thumbs down. Drop me a thumbs down. Right. Let's rewind. What I was saying was, I've done that 3 times on streams. Right. Hopefully, right, I can get my... I bought my CPU because I'm building a computer. Set me back quite a bit of money. Once I get my computer all sorted, we're waiting for Joe Cordino to step to the ring now. Once I get my CPU all sorted, my computer all sorted, graphics card, everything, I can start bringing better streams, pumping out that content, the content I want to bring out. Got a big monkey off my back now with my masters completed. Got my results the other day, so smash that. I want to start getting my computer all ready and start pumping out some content. Can't wait for it on here on Boxing News TV. Can't wait for it, but yeah. I gotta make sure I don't mute myself though. Joe Cordino walking to the ring now. Evening all. Evening Steve, good to have you in here. Steve, the host of the Boxing Asylum. Rob's name would probably be Rob though. Yeah, well, you never know. You never know what lengths Rob might go to troll. Not probably not the same lengths as me, but yeah, Rob would be Rob Vose. The Rob with a knockout. Imagine Rob knocking out people with his big plank of wood. Take him's LLM. That's right. LLB, LPC, LLM. But I'm not gonna start putting that in my name. But yeah, man, good to get that off. I'm getting a monitor. I've decided, like, as like my graduation thing, I'm gonna get a monitor and then use the money to pay the rest of the monitor and then buy the second monitor as well at the same time. So I'll have like 2 monitors set up, so that I can also watch my, because the Mac, right, as Joe Cordini's in the ring, they get official introductions. I'll be on top of that when that comes in. As the Mac is kind of stutters when I bring in like these, like for example, when I bring this in. You gave an interview to a Polish outlet, and you said about Lawrence that he hasn't been in difficult times. He doesn't have the mentality, and the mentality will be key, and he hasn't had the experiences of that you have had. What do you see in Lawrence that you think you can exploit?
Definitely my advantage, because I've been on the highest master level, and I fought with the best fighters, and well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so when I bring that in, I have like missing frames, and like I'm set at like 720p. My lighting's like a little bit crap. You know what I mean? As I'm being called on Warzone by Amy and Aaron, I think. Yeah, my lighting's a bit crap. Once I can get that all like sorted, I can stream in 1080. I can have this background, I can have other elements in, and I want to bring that all in together to bring like a good live reaction stream service thing. So not far off it at all. And now that the Master's out of the way, we can put more into the boxing stuff as well. So it's all good. Good news all round in general. Korbanov getting his official introductions now by David Diamante. Korbanov lost the likes of Davis Bosquiero. He had a more high-profile loss, I believe, and I cannot for the life of me remember who it was against. It was against Samir Ziani, who fought Alex Dilmagani on the Channel 5 bill towards the end of last year. In a good fight, what was nominated as one of the fights of the year, and was for quite a number of people the fight of the year. So he's lost to Bosquiero, he's lost to Dilmagani. This should be the type of fight where it's a step up in opposition in terms of like coming back for Cordino off of his hand injury. And he said to me, look, I asked him about the hand injury, and he said like, no one's ever fully injury free. You've always got niggles here and there, and people are lying when they say they're not injury free, but he's as injury free as he can be coming into this. And he's got a little he's got a lad on the way. He's had two girls. He's always wanted a boy, and he's got a boy on the way now, and I think that's giving him that little bit more of motivation to kind of provide for him. He said it in the VT, and he said it to me as well. And I think they're stopping there now, Cordina's family, after they have the kid. And I think they want they call him Junior as well, I believe. So a little Welsh wizard, Welsh baby wizard. Cordina with a feint. Jab to the body from Korbanov. Overhand right for Cordina lands. Cordina's a boxer, but he's got a bit of pop about him. Jab up top and down to the body. Steps back from that combination. Both fighters in the centre of the ring. Cordina looking a much fitter fighter here. Korbanov looking not as good as a specimen, I suppose. Inside, look at the way the legs going on the inside there. Cordina being on the inside. Here's a lead leg on the inside of Farouk's lead leg. Double jab there from Farouk. And a feint from Farouk. How good was Lee McGregor yesterday, man? Lee McGregor just absolutely ripped through Karim Guerfi. Good card, that, to be fair. Enjoyable card. Max Hughes was in a good fight against Paul Highland Jr. A bit of a shame that it kind of didn't go the way of the natural ending that it seemed to be going. Maxie Hughes was going to get Highland out of there. For sure. And then there was just a bit of an odd ending that kind of swayed away from going towards the natural ending of that fight and kind of robbed that from Maxie Hughes. Kind of gave Paul Highland Jr. a tiny bit of an out, but the fight was going that way. But yeah, and the new Maxie Hughes at the third time of asking, winning the British title. Brilliant for Maxie Hughes. One minute left of the first round. Left hook to the body lands for Korbanov. Nice shot pick there. Left hook in return from Joe Cordina. Jab. I'm kind of just hoping this fight ends as soon as possible because I just want to get to the main event. But I just have a feeling this is going to go with a full 10. Might try to stay up as well for... Nothing really happening here. Just Cordina picking a few shots. A lot of them landing on the gloves. A couple of shots getting through. Like a 5-punch combination. 2 punches will get through for Cordina. And he'll pick them quite well, to be fair. He's picked the best to the body so far. Cordina always solid behind the jab as well. Does a lot of his work off of the jab. There's a jab right hand there. Jab and right hand up to the body. Yeah, I'd like to stay up for Virgil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker. I don't know if I will be able to. I've been going to bed a little bit late, but I just don't know if I can be arsed enough to. I'm not the biggest fan of Hooker. I know he's decent enough competition in general, but I'm never really sold by Hooker at all. As I'm getting a picture of look at Emily here. Emily's just sent me that. I appreciate that, Emily. Nice bit of support as opposed to trolling me. Usually, Emily, I'm sure, being the proud Polish woman that she is, will be supporting Krzysztof Glowacki tonight, cheering on Glowacki from Leicester, whilst Chris is upstairs gaming. But yeah, big up Emily for sending me something different than a cake picture. You know, I don't mind seeing that. You can spam me with that if you want, Emily. Yeah, I don't really rate Maurice Hooker, to be honest with you. And I think he's there for the taking for Virgil Ortiz. I really do. And I think we'll knock him out. We saw the way Ramirez just... I think Ramirez... If I remember the knockout right, there was a couple of shots which Hooker didn't need to take, and it proper just rocked his head back, looking like a car crash dummy. The way his head was kind of lolling around. It's not really nice to see, but I think eventually... Not even eventually, probably around like round 5-6, Hooker will blast through. Ortiz will blast through Hooker. There's the jab again, leading up to like a 4-punch combination. Just tapping there, triple jab down to the body. After that with a right hand, Cordina just really in full control here. Not putting any dent in Korbanov. But just being the traditional, typical Cordina that we see usually. There's that jab again on the right hand. I think he just shipped the left hook off of the counter, off of that 3-punch combination. Korbanov got through. Might have only just brushed him. But he's got to be wary of that, just stepping in and not stepping out quick enough after that combination. 90 seconds left for the second round. Two uppercuts there from Cordina, snapping back the head of Farouk. I think if the lockdown hadn't happened and I kept boxing, I would have ended up looking like Farouk Korbanov's like body shape. Not like ripped or anything, but decently athletic. But now I'm looking like fucking... What's that Belgian fighter's name? Is it Lewandowski? Back of the head there from Cordina, and really should be getting a telling off, and he does by the referee. I'm looking at that like that. Lewandowski, not that fat, but you know, put on the weight, back on the boxing training now. And who knows, down the line you might see me TikTokers versus YouTubers. Nice pitch shot there as Korbanov was coming in, making him miss, and then when he's coming in, walking him onto something. Proper dead atmosphere. Proper dead atmosphere in here. Like even if the fans were in here, it's kind of one of those lull type of fights until Cordina kind of picks his shots and picks them off. But Tony Sims will be instructing him very well in the middle of these, well, in the in-between of the rounds. And when he's ready, when they see the opportunity, they'll step on the gas. Hopefully they'll step on the gas anyway. Maybe I'm saying it in hope rather than expectation of it happening. But yeah, man, what else is happening in boxing? I don't really want to talk about Joshua Fury because it's just a load of crap about 99% done and then it's agreed, but apparently it was agreed last year and now it's agreed again. There's no fight, no fight, and all this sort of stuff. Like, when it will happen, great. I'll be a little bit more expectant. I'll kind of build my hype. And then when it comes to fight week, once the weigh-ins are done, once we're on the day of the fight and there's no one pulling out or anything like that, when they walk to the ring, then they'll be, like, the day I'll start getting excited, you know what I mean? It's hard to get excited, like, about a fight that, you know, a mega fight, which you should be excited about, but because nothing's really cemented until they're there, it's kind of just like, eh. Bit low there with the right hand. Jab, 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 jab from Joe. Trying to work that opening. There's again tapping at the jab. Just keeping Farouk off at bay. And then he's sharp with the ducking out the way and moving off the angle. But then he just patters off of that with a couple of shots. Not really doing anything. Just tapping the guard. And I'd like to see Joe shoot more to the body then if he's going to... try and create himself an opportunity. I'd like to see the body being worked a bit more. But look, no problems with the hands. He's someone who's had hand injuries and nothing's... There's no wincing or anything. We saw El Mini. I can't remember his name. He's like, I don't know, A something. I can't remember what it was. Excuse me. El Mini fought at the weekend, and he threw a right hand, I think it was, and he just winced after it, and he couldn't take the pain and had to, like, kind of quit. Interestingly, right, I thought it was quite interesting that there wasn't a reaction from the public, from what I saw, about El Mini when he hit that right hand, he immediately winced and kind of went down to a knee. And essentially, he quit. But with Dubois, he got his eye busted in like the second or third. And then it went all the way to the 11th. And then he took the knee. But people are more open to criticize Daniel Dubois for the supposed quit than they would El Mini, who actually quit straight away after that pain of the right hand. And I'd say having... Well, it's hard to compare, but for my money, the injury to the eye is a more debilitating injury than an injury to the hand, because you could just not... We've seen countless fighters who have fought with injured hands and been able to throw. Yes, we've also seen that with eye injuries, but I think in a general sense, the eye, because you can't see, you can see less. Although you can't throw with that hand, you still can throw actually. And fighters do, even with hurt hands, still throw that hand that they've injured. I'd say it's a harder injury that Dubois had to suffer through, and he suffered through it longer than El Mini did. But there was no criticism from what I saw for him. Just an interesting little thought there for me. I'm going to find out his name. Can't just keep calling him El Mini. He's called El Mini because he's under 5 foot. Axel Aragon Vega. Fucking great name. He sounds like a mix between Street Fighter Vega, Street Fighter character, and then a Streets of Rage fighter with character in Axel. So Axel Aragon Vega could be his own fucking Soul Calibur character in of itself. But yeah, he's called El Mini because he's really small, under 5 foot. But he's quite an inspiration, to be fair, to be that small and fighting and being on the verge of winning a world title. It was a good little fight until the hand injury. Anyway, I'd love to see it again and reach its natural conclusion. But yeah, that's what happened. If you're in here, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't already, helps me out loads with the YouTube spiel, but it gets me higher in the algorithm and so on and so forth. We have Joe Cordina in the 4th round, 2 minutes 45 seconds of the 4th round. Kind of just coasting. Really kind of just coasting here. A no frills yet performance. Jab here from Joe. Right hook to the body from Joe. I think Joe's just got to step through the levels, really. Find the other gears that he's got. I mean, yeah, he does this normally, but just to put a bit more on this guy, he's slipping the punches nicely, not getting caught with anything silly. We know this about Joe, and that he's got these abilities in his locker when it comes to his fights. There, picking nice shots and pushing the head back in this nice little inside uppercuts. But now what are you doing to step on from that bit of success? And I don't think he is. Unless he's looking for like a perfect counter. But that's not really Cordina's style, to be honest with you. In the clinch, right hand to the body and right up to the head. Maybe he wants the rounds. He's certainly looking like someone who wants the rounds. Jab up to the chest, then down to the body, then a couple of uppercuts on the guard of Farouk Korbanov. There's a right hand that Cordina ships, and then a couple of shots to the body. Had to ship them there. A little bit of a lack of focus there from Joe. He's trying to dig that left uppercut in. He's trying to work the opportunity with a couple of pity patters. Then shoot down with the right hand to the body. Then the left hook under the elbow. I think that's his kind of gateway to maybe putting a dent into Korbanov, who has a tight defense. Jabs land quite frequently and hit the head back, as do the uppercuts. But he's trying to find that opportunity and manifest a dent into Korbanov with body work. 10 seconds left of the 4th round. Mavic Drone with the fist. Hitting you with a fist too, Mavic. Good to see you in here. New face, new name. Always a pleasure to have new people on the channel. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already, Mavic. I feel like Ali with the fist. Bit of chess being played here. We're getting a chess game between Shane McGuigan and Lawrence Okolie. I imagine they've had many chess matches against each other. Fun fact, I signed up for chess in Anthony Fowler, the Observer, on the outside of that chess game. I think that's probably about right. I signed up for chess in school and never joined the chess after school activities. But I've always played at home though, to be fair. But yeah, I never went on to actually do anything at the club, even though I signed up for it. But I do enjoy a bit of chess. I haven't played in a long time. That's probably not as fun fact as maybe as I thought it would be. 5th round, Cordina and Kurbanov. Another Kurbanov in action soon. Liam Smith versus Kurbanov on May 8th. The Black Lion. Liam Smith fighting over in Russia. Super welterweight. Liam dropping down from middleweight to fight a super welter in a kind of maybe stay busy. Good fight, but a fight that you'd expect him to come through and then try to get a bigger fight in there. Maybe Kell Brook, maybe I don't know who you can get really. But that Kell fight's kind of been put out there. The Vargas fight was put out there as well, but it never kind of materialized. But the Kurbanov fight has Al Siesta working in there with Matchroom, getting that fight over line. Good little good move there. Not even a little move, it's a good move there for Al and the Siesta boxing crew as they push forward in 2021. Nice level changes from Joe, but what is he doing on the end of those level changes? Jabs through the guard, land. But look, like, looking at this guy's face, in the last few fights when you saw like Dukar and Billum Smith or Fowler Forterre, you could see the reddening on the bodies of the fighters, and there's just nothing on there. Joe's just not really made any real dent. There's a right hand lands for Kurbanov, who presses on the gas there. Nice shot there for him, and a shovel uppercut to the left part of Joe Cordina's body. Now they're trading a bit more. This is a lot better than we've seen so far in the previous 5-ish rounds. And Joe being forced to do more work here because Kurbanov stepped on the gas a little bit. Not in any trouble, but at least kind of pushing the action. Uppercuts coming into the body for both of them. Joe getting off the better of the exchange there. Head to head, toe to toe. Cordina's apt in coming forward and wanting to fight that sort of style. He's not afraid of doing that. Right hook to the top and then up to the body. Up to the down to the body. Right hand lands. Slips out the way of a 1-2. Comes back with a 1-2 of his own. Then there's those uppercuts followed by a left hook. Bell for that round rings. The best thing about that bell ringing was, well, I'm being a little bit critical there. At least there was a bit of action towards that. Getting an advert with Conor Benn in here. Building the profile of Conor Benn. What's this advert about? Sports Direct Everlast. Bit of a profile builder for Conor. Who knows, maybe becoming a pay-per-view star in the future. Adverts like that set you up for that sort of stuff, as do wins against good competition. He's in against Samuel Vargas next. Could be an impressive win for him. As was the Formella win. Really come on quite well there. Under Tony Sims as well. interesting fight announced as well for that gym. That being Craig Richards versus Dmitry Bivol. You can make the comparisons with the Kovalev and Yard fight, which people will make. I posed that to the guys on Boxing News TV, and Rob Tibbett kind of answered it really well, to be fair. Although you can make some comparisons, it's a bit different in terms of the experience that Craig Richards has had in his career compared to Anthony Yard. So we'll see how he gets on there. You know, you should expect Bivol quite handily to win that fight, but by no means Craig Richards, you know, won't be a factor. I think he'll have a bit of success in that fight, but I expect Bivol to win that fight. 6th round. Jab to the body, patterning that jab. Left hook lands there for Farouk Korbanov. Left hook, right hand, left hook there from Korbanov. Good shot now. Follows it up with more punches to the body. It's good stuff there from Korbanov. Uppercut to the body. Left hook down lands as well. Joe Cordina just smiles about it. Usually, when a fighter smiles and like shakes the head, it means they're not hurt. There wasn't a shake of the head from from Cordina, but there was a smile. Trying to do a bit of mind going up there, saying they're not hurt. I have no idea what this is being said here. We can find out for you. I think it's a bit of Russian. Can I copy that? Let's have a look. Probably asking me if I'm showing the fight. Let's translate this. Russian to English. I'll try and answer this if I can for you, pal. Hello, what time is the fight? Okay. Here we go. I'm going to copy and paste that over to this guy. See if I can do this for him. And now, right, now we need to translate. Here we go. Let's see if I can get him to do this. In Russian, I'm asking him to like and subscribe. Will he do it? To our Russian friend here, he was asking, hello, when is the fight happening? That's the main event fight he's obviously asking for. Okolie versus Glowacki will be here covering all the action. It's going to happen after this fight. There's about 4 complete rounds left of this. I'm glad it's not a 12-rounder. 10 seconds left of the 6th round. The most interesting question for me so far is if I can get this Russian fella to subscribe. Yeah, Lawrence Okolie is next. We've got a break in action. We're waiting here. We've got a little VT of Lawrence Okolie, who, as I was saying earlier, could be on his way to kind of mainstream, transitioning into a kind of mainstream star, in the sense of he's got a rap song out, which has got 200,000 views on Grime Daily, which is not to be sniffed at. He's also got a book coming out, which has been kind of recommended by Fern Cotton, which is a bit strange, but when you factor the fact that he's got a nice story of coming through London, being bullied when he was a kid, and kind of using boxing to kind of build himself, also going into boxing because he was overweight, and then using it as a fitness mechanism to keep himself fit, and then from there being on Team GB and now on the verge of a world title. He's got a very good story, and I think they're trying to build the profile of Lawrence Okolie because they potentially think he could become a mainstream star, and he could be. And I think one of the things about it, in terms of his boxing, which they've identified, is the fact that he doesn't have a really pleasant style. And I think both Lawrence and Shane McGuigan, have identified that. They've admitted that. They're aware of that, and I think they've gone to work with that. And I think Lawrence showed in his fight against Jizuski, fighting a bit more at range and let his punches go the full distance, not smothering his work and smothering his opponent. Changing up the right hand ship, big right hand ship there by Cordina there. Took it well, but Korbanov landing the best punch of his effort so far. Right hand in the 7th round. Solid shot that. Cordina took it well. yeah, they've identified that that's a weakness, his unpleasant style. They got rid of some of the... I think their sparring was an issue with like Mihai Nistor. They end up kind of like hugging each other, and they kind of like in the gym, they kind of really on top of him, like holding and clinching. And I think if he was a bit more entertaining in the ring, because when you try to be mainstream and you want to show clips of your fights, you want to be an entertainer, and you're not doing that, then it's hard to kind of back it up. Obviously, a title helps you there, but I think you still need a bit more than that, and that's been a bit more of an entertaining factor in the ring. If they can do that, there's a complete package there with someone like Lawrence Okolie, who it's not out of the realms of him. You know, they talk about him being undisputed in cruiserweight and stepping up to heavyweight and maybe picking up a title. It's not a pipe dream at all. It's very much on the table for Lawrence. You'll have to work hard for it, but it's definitely there. I think we did get the Russian fella to subscribe, so great news. Got Mariusz Szeliszki in here. I don't know much Polish. If Emily would like to join and let me know, then she can let me know. But good to have you in here, Mariusz. Hit the like and subscribe button if you are new, as it helps me out. Let's do that in Polish now. Oh dear, the things you do for a subscribe. Let's try and change this into Polish. 30 seconds left of the 7th round. Ten seconds left. 7th round. About 3 complete rounds left to go till we get to the main event. Can't wait for the main event. David Lawrence Graham is in here. Evening Games. How's things going? Yeah, not too bad, David. Had a pretty much good week. Completely on Masters now, so a big kind of weight off my shoulders. Getting ready with the PC. Doing an upgrade. Got this here. Got an upgrade going on. Once my PC's ready, I can start kind of stepping up the content and putting more out there. But main thing is that the Masters is done, and yeah, we can start pushing on with content for Boxing News TV, for here. Hopefully we can get Tyan back soon. Tyan wants to do some stuff with me. So once the kind of restrictions ease, I'll get that stuff going out there. And yeah, I'm all good, David. How about you? But yeah, apparently I'm speaking Polish here. I'm speaking Russian. All for the like and subscribe, eh? Arik Sorrow is in here saying Glowacki. Fist up to you, Arik. Good to see you in here. Giving you the fist bump. Listen, Glowacki is isn't gonna be easy for Lawrence. He's got the experience factor. We'll get to that in a bit. We've got 2 minutes 30 seconds left of round 8. Whilst we're waiting in here, whilst we've got a few Glowacki fans in here, I spoke to Krzysztof Glowacki in the week. Here's what he said to me. You gave an interview to a Polish outlet, and you said about Lawrence that he hasn't been in difficult times. He doesn't have the mentality, and the mentality will be key, and he hasn't had the experiences of that you have had. What do you see in Lawrence that you think you can exploit?
Definitely my advantage, because I've been on the highest master level, and I fought with the best fighters, and well, we'll see how it goes.
So yeah, I mean, I spoke to Lawrence Okolie and Krzysztof Glowacki, and look, in my opinion, I think Lawrence Okolie's gonna win. But Glowacki, in terms of experience, and Glowacki said it himself, he was speaking to a Polish news outlet, and he said, look, I have the advantage over Lawrence Okolie. I have the mental advantage. I've been places Lawrence Okolie hasn't been. I've had tests that Lawrence Okolie hasn't had, and that's certainly true. That can't be doubted, because the resume proves it with Krzysztof Glowacki. Fighting the likes of Myris Breedis, fighting the likes of Usyk, winning cruiserweight titles beforehand. Okolie hasn't been there. Glowacki has, sparring with the likes of Artur Szpilkas as well. I think I'm not writing off Krzysztof Glowacki. I think the upset is definitely possible. However, I do think that the landscape is set. This main event is set for Okolie to win, and to win in style. But I won't rule out Glowacki having his successes, even potentially causing the upset. But I just think it's more in Lawrence's favour, and I think that Lawrence will beat Krzysztof Glowacki. But it should hopefully make for a good fight. If you're in here and you haven't already, hit the like button as it helps me out loads, and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know, as we're in last 15 seconds of the 8th round. So 2 more complete rounds to go before we get to Lawrence Okolie versus Krzysztof Glowacki. Let me know your predictions for Lawrence Okolie and Krzysztof Glowacki. The main event for the WBO Cruiserweight Championship. These two go ahead for that title. It's coming to Lawrence's hands. And Glowacki's hands. It's his opportunity as well to capture that title. Because of the coronavirus, we've got to this situation. A lot of people a bit skeptical of whether Lawrence is ready. He hasn't had that kind of test yet. That's another thing. This is what Krzysztof was saying. Lawrence hasn't had that test yet. Yes, Yves Ngabu, kind of that European kind of level type of fighter. But maybe he should have had more of those types of tests and solidify himself there. Then had a bridger type fight and then get to bridging type fight and then get to Glowacki. But they've done it. They think they've seen something in Glowacki to say that he's kind of done. Other people are saying that as well. That he's kind of done. I sort of see that as well. But the proof's got to be in the pudding, and Okolie's still got a job in his hands to capture that title. So we'll see if he does it. Round 9 of 10. Excuse me. Cordina winning here. Had a couple of shots to take, but Cordina looking as Cordina does. We'll see if he steps on the gas a little bit here and can find more of a dent and a way through Farouk Korbanov. Clinch in the middle of the ring. 2 minutes 20 left. Cordina takes a body shot. Jab. Pull counter. Misses with a pull counter. Sims watching there intently, just giving instructions to Joe. As they stand in front of each other. Farouk Korbanov is just static, standing in front of Joe Cordina, just seeing what he does. And a jab, a right hand, and a left hook gets through for Joe. On his toes now, was flat-footed, now bouncing, now back to being flat-footed. Farouk Korbanov. Joe Cordina misses with a right hand, but evades a 3-punch combination. Ships a couple of shots to the body, but takes it well and takes a shovel uppercut to the body. Jab and a jab again from Joe Cordina, just probing with that jab. A right hand over the top from Farouk Korbanov, and then a left hook as well. Good 2-punch combination, and a right hand lands there for Farouk. Solid work there from Farouk Korbanov, having his spell here. Cordina smiling and going head to head. Right hook to the body there from Korbanov. Pushing his opponent now to the ropes. Uppercut from Cordina. A right hook to the body shipped from Cordina though. Jab there for Joe. Left hook there for Joe. Korbanov just nods his head there, saying it's a good shot. Yeah, Macklin saying that Cordina's just kind of lacked imagination and been a bit flat here, but I don't know. I just think he stayed in gear. Right hook to the body. Right hook, uppercut. Kind of just like a bit of a shitty sparring session for Joe. Same sort of combinations, same sort of things. Not really trying anything different here. Again, not trying to put a dent in Korbanov either. There, just a bit easy as he like kind of dips the way and then pivots off of that attempted barrage from Korbanov. Just a bit like treating it just a bit as a chill session. You know? What's this? MMA. I'm not sure what that says. I'll have to translate that. Great achievement regards your master's degree, mate. Congratulations. I'm good, thanks. Living the boring life at the min, waiting for the virus to fuck off. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Look, my master's took longer than it should have done, but I've got it done now. Big weight off my shoulders, which is great. And yeah, hopefully we can kick on now. Like I said to you guys, like I'm getting my PC built. I got the parts done. I've got a few more parts to get. Once that's done, I can start kicking on with content for here, for Boxing YouTube. Not just live streams, but stuff that I want to do and want to put out and being a bit more different. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, like I said, waiting for the virus to fuck off. Jonesing for a jab. So I can get out there and do stuff. But yeah, hopefully soon. We're at the light at the end of the tunnel, aren't we? With that sort of stuff, you know, with the restrictions. So it's good. Good to have hopefully got through and we can get back to some semblance of normality and stuff. So yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the congratulations for the masters and stuff. I'm glad to just have it done. I used to have, I was saying to my mate Aaron yesterday, I used to have these like really weird, whenever exams used to come around, I used to have nightmares about missing a maths exam, even though I don't take maths, it's a law degree. So it was like proper like in my head about it. But yeah, it's done now, it's good. 2 minutes left of the 10th round. Last King of Scotland saying, you deserve a medal for commentating on this pish, Ames, bro. Oh, man. I was really hoping, like, the Fortea fight, right? And this fight, I thought would go the distance. So I was really happy to see Anthony Fowler get, to be fair, a good win over Jorge in stopping him. But this one, I was just hoping, oh, maybe the same thing. And this is just kind of just being a bit... This is just being really kind of a bit of a slog. But we're at the end of that slog. And we'll get Okolie Glowacki. That's what we're here for. So, yeah. 90 seconds left of this. The best thing about it is this is about to end. There's been a couple of entertaining bits in this fight. And again, one of the best things about this is at least Joe, who is a good talent, is getting out there after a hand injury. That's the main thing about this. But yeah, it's not been the most entertaining of fights to watch. Let's see what this fella is saying. I'll try my best to translate this. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Are you watching MMA? If so, what do you think is the best heavyweight fighter in Russian? If you can chat, thanks. MMA heavyweight fighter. Okay, so I watch a bit of UFC. I'm a bit more of a casual than I am in UFC. My favourite heavyweight, I really like Daniel Cormier. But he's pretty much retired. If he hasn't officially retired, he's pretty much retired. But I like who's the current champion now? Is he Polish? What's his name? I forgot his name. He's fighting I'm pretty sure he's Polish. Let's have a look. I'm not a big fan of John Jones. I know he's not... I think he's dropped up to heavyweight now. But, where's the heavyweights? Let's have a quick look. Let me get this right. Because I'm more of a casual on... Yeah, Miocic. I really like Miocic. I think his quality, and he's done it kind of the hard way. Miocic has, especially the finish when he fought Daniel Cormier. When he went to the body work that Miocic did on Cormier to get the finish, I thought was a brilliant, real kind of page out of boxing's book. That bodywork was. So my favourite is Stipe Miocic right now, but I'm more of a casual. There's a couple of fighters I like, you know, like your Curtis Blades. Used to like Brock Lesnar because I was into wrestling back in the day as well. But yeah. Walt Harris had a good story, what with the death of his daughter. I was really wishing Walt Harris kind of well, because he's got a great story, but he's kind of a one-round fighter, and then he gasses after that first round, and he got taken apart by Overeem, wasn't it? It was such a shame, and he kind of hasn't really covered since that. But yeah. Breaking boundaries, borderless chats here. Al Siesta would be proud of this borderless interaction here. Let's have a quick look what this fella is saying here. America's the best country. Our Russia is going downhill. Everything has been sold. Even fighters for money fall in the ring. America, well done. 2 times was with you. Well, let's get your thoughts then on what you thought of Canelo and Kovalev. So I'm asking him what he thoughts of Canelo versus Kovalev, because that Kovalev performance was really strange. Like, he just kind of pitter-patted Canelo and didn't really throw with power at all to Canelo. Yeah, pretty much, man. But yeah, I like to get that kind of, because we over here, we kind of just focus on like the British opinion and don't look at like the opinions of like other fighters. Or other nations in terms of their fighters. This fella here is saying that Russia's kind of left everything off, but people like Al Siesta, like they would, you know, being from the Eastern European type of countries, are really kind of saying that, you know, in the next 5 years or so, these type of countries like your Ukraines, Russias, Kazakhstans, Uzbekistans are really going to push on in these sports, like we're seeing so far with like your Khabibs and who's that fighter that just he had to sort of semi-retire. Looks like a little mini Khabib. I forgot his name. Hamzat Chimaev, that one. Getting the introductions here. Scores here. Just taking a bit of time.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action here in London, England, we go to the judges'
Scorecards are.
Steve Gray scores this contest 96 even.
96 even. Ooh. 98-93. 96-95. Joe Cordina gets the win, but not on the scorecards as far wide as he might have thought it'd been. And maybe that'll be just a bit of a kick up the backside there with the scorecards there. Being a bit more one by 1 point, one a draw, and the other by a few rounds. That might give him a bit of the impetus to kind of kick on when it comes to the next fight, not to produce a performance like that and step through the gears a bit more, make it a bit more a push of it. Because I just thought he coasted in gear, and that cost him a more clearer victory. Yeah, going international, looking to pick up a WBC Intercontinental. It's funny what Andy was saying about, yeah, if you got 10 grand, we can get you into a WBA ranking. If anyone wants to chip in for a WBA ranking, we can get ourselves all ranked, can't we? But yeah, no, it's all good. All great to speak to all people in here. Polish, Russian, English, Welsh, Irish, whatever it is. Sport in general is like, there's no boundary to sport, is there? So yeah, if you're in here, 10 of you guys in here, appreciate you all being in here. 7 likes, get up to 10 if you can. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. As we're waiting for the main event, again, let me slip over to Lawrence Okolie and Krzysztof Glowacki's opinions. You've probably seen them already. We'll show them another time as well. Just their thoughts on this upcoming fight. You gave an interview to a Polish outlet, and you said about Lawrence that he hasn't been in difficult times. He doesn't have the mentality, and the mentality will be key, and he hasn't had the experiences of that you have had. What do you see in Lawrence that you think you can exploit?
Definitely my advantage, because I've been on the highest master level, and I fought with with the best fighters, and well, we'll see how it goes.
I just wanted to quickly hone in on the biggest criticism as you as a fighter, in that your fights aren't the most entertaining to watch on what is going to be the biggest stage of your career. Is there any want for you to shed that tag of not being an entertaining fighter?
Yes, quite simply. Yeah, I'll be honest. Obviously, with time, obviously that stuff becomes more clear. But I think if I can get a good knockout here in a exciting, I don't want it to be too exciting in terms of give and take, but I want it to be exciting in terms of me giving. I think it will be difficult with the run of form that I've had. I think I've had like four sole knockouts in a row. I can't remember how many I'm winning a world title by knockout. I think it'll be difficult for people to, hold on to the past. It was, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, but we'll see.
Right, then we're back. So yeah, those are Lawrence Okolie's and Krzysztof Glowacki's thoughts. One on one side, Krzysztof Glowacki is saying he doesn't think Lawrence Okolie is on his level in terms of experience and the places he's been, and he's got a good argument for that in terms of resumes. Look at the two resumes and you'll see Bridis on there, you'll see Usyk on there, you'll see a lot better tested kind of fighters, and Glowacki's been there and done it, but he's on the other side of being there and done it. And Lawrence Okolie there acknowledging his style and the weakness in his terms of his style in terms of being inciting. He wants to put that right on the biggest stage of his career. He wants to put that right, that criticism about him. He thinks that people have held on to it for quite a long time, with good reason. Although in the Nikodem Juzewski fight, he fought a Polish fighter previously and beat him, and he was kind of long-ranged with that, and I think that brought the best out of him. Although Juzewski was a replacement opponent, he still got the job done and looked decent in doing that. So, we'll see if Lawrence Okolie can shake off that tag and win the belt in impressive fashion. Or will he just look to get the title over the line and win it by still being kind of clinching and just getting the job done through, no frills, clinching and getting the win. We'll see what happens here. Interesting enough a fight. Lawrence on the precipice of winning a world title, as is Glowacki. I expect Lawrence Okolie to win this fight. I expect him to win in round 6 or 7 by a knockout or stoppage, or potentially sooner. I watched the highlights of Bridis Glowacki, and it was a shame what happened with the elbow, wasn't it? Because he took a fucking solid elbow. Milked it a little bit, but still took a solid elbow. If that was UFC, that fight would have been called off because of that elbow. But he then got rocked with the right hand and the fight was over. I just think Glowacki is there for the taking here for Lawrence, and it's set up for him to win. So, let's have a recap of what's happened tonight. Recapping tonight's action, Bradley Ray versus Lee Cutler was on the undercard, starting on Facebook. And it was interesting because they set that for an hour, but they only went like 20-30 minutes, because Bradley Ray, he destroyed Lee Cutler really in what was supposed to be like a nice fight, kind of could go either way. Bradley Ray just absolutely washed through Lee Cutler in a round. Was fast, kept himself long. Looked really good, to be fair. And those are two fighters that were sparred. So, yeah, looked really good. Basil Ducar versus Chris Billam-Smith. Good fight there. Chris Billam-Smith knocking Ducar down twice, but then kind of laboured to the win. Should have probably got the step through the gears and got the stoppage, but Ducar was tough and made it through. Ramla Ali beat Beck Connolly, showing a bit of spite, which I liked. Ellis Scotney looked good against Miley Gangloff. We saw Anthony Fowler, impressive win against Jorge Ferreira. We just watched Joe Cordina bore the way through to a 10-round victory over Farouk Korbanov. Should have been a bit wider, but that's Cordina's fault for not stepping on the gas. Got Dillian White here talking about the Rumble on the Rock. Next week, I believe it is, isn't it? Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin 2 will be here live streaming for that one, so please do join me there for that one as well. Alexander Povetkin, repeat or revenge. Should be a good one. Definitely be live for that one. Has Glowacki had a bad injury or something, because he dropped off the radar for ages? Surely fully fit Glowacki is levels above Okolie. He's only lost to Bradis and Usyk. He's not fought, like Last King of Scotland saying is there, he's not fought since the fight with Bradis. I don't think there was an injury, as far as I'm aware. He has had injuries before in his career, so something could have occurred or reoccurred that's not being kind of reported on. We might not have that news over here. Might be reported over in Poland, or might just be being kept in house. He had, I think, an elbow injury around the time of the Usyk fight, either before or after. So he has had a history of a couple of injuries in the past before, but I don't know if he's had any injuries that have kept him out. He did obviously have the COVID, which kept this fight happening from a little bit sooner. But in terms of like an injury to like bicep, shoulder, or whatever it would be, I'm not aware of that. I think it's just kind of inactivity. Okolie can stink a joint out big time. I hope not for tonight. Yeah, same. It would be disappointing if he did stink it out. Let's see what this fella is saying here. Okay, the Russian fella that we got in here has bet $700 on the fight. Let's ask him. That's Last King of Scotland money right there. Let's find out who he's bet the money on. Inactivity or injury problems are surely the only way Okolie would, or is Glowacki just shocked to bits? Look, that's what I'm hearing about Glowacki, David. People within the sport who I've spoke to really think Glowacki's just there for the taking. And they could get it wrong. They could get it right. But the consensus seems to be within the boxing community, like behind the scenes, is that he's there for the taking. He's kind of shot now. He's done. He's washed. And we'll see. They might have picked it right. They might have picked it wrong. They picked Chocolatito wrong when Yafai stepped in there. They thought Chocolatito was there for the taking, and Chocolatito proved that he's got a lot left in the tank, and he proved that against Estrada, whether he left it in the ring against Estrada or not. Some people thought he should have won the fight. I thought he should have won that fight, but it sets up the trilogy nicely. Rungvisai isn't going to step out of the way, but maybe down the line we can get that fight. But, yeah, I think I'm kind of swayed by what I've been hearing and what I've seen a bit of Glowacki. That I just think the power's there with Okolie. I think that's fair. And I just see it as a very winnable fight for Okolie. And I think he'll walk Glowacki onto something. Glowacki will look to kind of loop shots over as he always does, over the top of Lawrence, and Lawrence could get caught by something. I'm not, by no means am I writing off Glowacki, but I just think this is all set up for Lawrence to win, and especially when you hear murmurs from people who, you know, vehemently defend the European fighters. You could probably guess who I'm talking about here. Are picking Lawrence Okolie. It kind of makes you think that what they've heard behind the scenes in terms of stuff coming from the camp, and of course coming off of COVID, that's not great either. Alexander Povetkin coming off of COVID as well. I heard that he was very much, they were very, very worried about Alexander Povetkin. I was told that he was a heavyweight who dropped down to all the way down to light heavy when he came out of hospital, which is a tremendous amount of weight to lose because of COVID for Alexander Povetkin. So there's a real big question mark over where Povetkin is right now in terms of setting up that fight. So, but they're taking it regardless. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him. It's here now. It's coming. Adam Smith and Matthew Macklin are talking. We're about to get the official walk-ins and stuff. So. I hope you picked the Okolie by KO, fella. Marvelous Marvin Hagler tribute. Before my time, but a lot of people talk about Hagler and in-depth Hagler's legacy, the legend of Hagler, the aura that Hagler had will build. Fighters from all levels talk about Marvin Hagler. They talk about the mindset of Marvin Hagler, the consummate professional that Marvin Hagler was. He's a real fighter's fighter and a fan's fighter. You know, the war mentality that he had. Like, I was speaking to Ellis Scotney, who like may or may not make it big in the game, is what I'm trying to say. But influenced by Marvin Hagler, by his mentality, by, you know, sticking on a video and being motivated by him. And he's really set the bar and the precedent, like along with Hearns as well. They set the bar and the precedent for expectancy levels of what a big fight should be and how the fighter should entertain the crowd when it comes to those big fights. Because when you talk about fights and when there's a bit of like, oh, this fight could be good, what do we say about it? We say, is it going to be a Gatti Ward? Or is it going to be a Hagler Hearns? That's because of the legend that's been built, because of what those two men put in that ring on that night. So, yeah. Rest in peace to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Glowacki's walking to the ring now to some country music. Wouldn't have taken for a country music fan. The Polish man walking to the ring slowly to some acoustic guitar. Yes, David saying something's going on behind the scenes, like Ames was saying. No way most people would be going with Okolie otherwise. Definitely, mate. If it was the same Glowacki as in WBSS, we would be picking the poll. This is Eddie trying to get Okolie soft world title. Yeah, it is. It is. That's completely right. The assessment there is right. And that's what they've seen. And I think if he's there, then Lawrence Okolie should be able to take it. I think people kind of understand that that's what's going on. But if they get it, just seen the picture of Robert Taylor interviewing there. If they get it wrong, oh my God, what a way to get it wrong it would be. And they've got it wrong. Matchroom have got it wrong in the last few weeks or so. So we'll see. From what I've seen from Okolie, a one-legged Glowacki should still win. So David picking Glowacki. I put it on Glowacki, of course. It's stupid, but the coffee is good, but suddenly it wins. I'm not sure about the translation there, but our Russian friend here is saying that he's put $700 on Krzysztof Glowacki. I don't know what the odds look like. Again, I don't bet myself, so bet responsibly when it comes to it. Lawrence Okolie is coming out to his own music. Excuse me. And there is that quiet confidence about Lawrence. He's coming out to his latest track called TKO. You can see that in the background. And yeah, we'll see. This is his time now, Lawrence. This will be the easiest opportunity he will have to get a world title against what they believe to be a faded shot fighter. We'll see if he's faded enough and shot enough for Lawrence to capitalize upon that. We'll see if he's still got a bit more about him and it's a bit more tougher, and Lawrence will have to come through a better than expected fighter. We'll see if the upset is on the cards, and we'll see if, although it being a vacant title, we'll see if Lawrence Okolie is championship material. Or we'll see if Glowacki's got more in the tank left. David going for Glowacki. I put 100 on Okolie by KO in round 7 to 12, 5 to 2. Again, I don't know what that means for you, but hopefully it comes through for you. Official introductions come in. But the biggest thing about them both is shot to bits is behind the scenes stuff. What's on record is Glowacki is the much more experienced fighter, and that could tell here. Just those little tricks in the ring that he's learned from defeats, you learn from victories, you learn. He's already at championship level. Even if he's dropped down there, he's shown that he can be at championship level. And fighters sometimes roll back the years and have that one big performance left in them. Even if you're shot to bits, you can still pull something out the hat. And we'll see if Glowacki can rewind time and if he's got more about him to do that. David Diamante getting ready to rumble here. Okolie's just shuffling from side to side. Glowacki's shadow punching uppercuts and right hands, just waiting for the first bell. You'll get 350 back. All right, fair play. And no chance. Is that a Mike Tyson tattoo he's got on his thingy? Never seen it so clearly. It looks like a Tyson tattoo. I think it is, yeah. I'm yet to watch. Has anyone seen Tyson and Canelo on the Hotboxing podcast? Apparently, Canelo speaks like English a lot more than we've heard him speak English before. So I wonder if any of you guys have seen that. I want to watch that maybe over the weekend. Well, tomorrow, I suppose. Glowacki gets his official introduction. He raises his hand and he's now just jumping up on the spot. Lawrence Okolie just tapping his head, pushing his gloves together. Winks at someone in the crowd. Probably Derek Chisora. "15 fights, 12 wins, 12 knockouts." 15 what? That's wrong. 15 fights, 12 knockouts. Be the first of that crop of Team GB talent to win that title. The world title. Official introductions are done. Both fighters are getting the last instructions. Quite a bit of height difference for Lawrence there. You can see that quite visibly, about 3 or 4 inches. Ready, ready. Bell for the first round rings, and Lawrence Okolie and Glowacki are on the front foot in this middle of the ring. As Southpaw and Orthodox can happen. Watch out for those feet stepping on each other, tangling. Jab for Lawrence, partially lands. Jab again for Lawrence. Jab to the body. Lawrence. A couple of feints here from Lawrence as well. Jab in the right hand. Left hook to the body there for Lawrence. Lawrence is naturally trying to set up a straight right hand here. Right hand to the body lands there for Lawrence. That's a good shot. Jab to the guard of Glowacki. Glowacki's trying to step on that lead leg, lead foot of Lawrence. You can see him just edging with it. Right hand lands there from Okolie and a jab. Right hand there again for Okolie. Left hook there, just got blocked by Lawrence. 45 seconds left of the first round. Jab to the body from Lawrence Okolie. Just managing this distance, keeping it at range.
see he's crafted there, standing on the front foot of Okolie. He's looking for that straight left. He's jabbing.
First clinch of the fight here, and in the clinch, Okolie fires 2 left hooks over the top and gets a warning for it being at the back of the head. I thought it was alright. Didn't look at the back of the head to me. I am wearing glasses though. Right hand to the body lands for Lawrence Okolie. Tries to wing in a right hook but misses. Decent first round there for Lawrence Okolie. I think he wins that round there. Was controlling the distance. Very, very aware of Glowacki trying to step on the lead leg of Lawrence and trying to stop that from happening. I think that's what Glowacki's trying to do, to close the distance, then come in with something. He's just got to make sure he doesn't walk into a right hand. But good first round for Lawrence. I thought he won that first one. Last game in Scotland. Everyone seems to be lumping money on Okolie, so something's going on with Glowacki. Yeah, I think that's the consensus, that something's gone on behind the scenes and he's there for the taking. Hope he makes it past the 6th round. Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying there. And they might end up managing their way to getting a world title, but I think it would come anyway for Lawrence eventually. If you're in here and you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Round 2. 10 seconds in of the 2nd round. WBO Cruiserweight title. A bit more action there. 3-punch combination there. The left hook, I think it was, being the peach of the punches in that 3-punch combination for Lawrence Okolie as they clinch and they're separated. Touching down to the body. And now up to the head. Not really let go yet with that right hand. Feints it there. And again. Right hand to the body lands. It was a good shot there for Lawrence Okolie. Pushing out that jab. And again. Right hand, left hook lands. Left hook landed to the back. But the right hook to the body. The right hand to the body was a good shot. Here's a clinch. In the clinch, Glowacki's trying to work. Referee told him to stop boxing. Glowacki was throwing a few more punches in there, but Glowacki wants to work in those clinches. Right hand down to the body from Okolie. Okolie's lead hand low. Glowacki not able to close the distance and land with something. Right hand again to the body from Okolie. Here's the clinch again, and Okolie tries to lead in with the head there. Glowacki. He's going to get a telling off for that one. Shouldn't be doing that. In the clinch, he's trying to land a left hook over the top, or anything, to be fair, he's trying to land in the clinch. Glowacki doesn't want Okolie to dominate that clinch. Jab lands for Lawrence. Maintaining that distance. And jabbing at that distance as well. And it's been a problem so far for Glowacki. Jab on the right hand to the body. We've seen that a few times now. Right hand down to the body again. We've seen that again. There's something over the top for Glowacki. He hasn't thrown a shot over the top just yet, which is what he normally does. There's that shot over the top. I think it just missed. 20 seconds left of the 2nd round. And that's the 2nd round done. That Russian fella who put 700 Glowacki has just been mugged. We'll see, we'll see.
care, protects and cares for your skin with triple action moisturizer.
I buy it for our recycling centres so we can keep our green spaces green.
Been alright for Lawrence so far. He's managed the distance, not really let Glowacki get in with anything because of the range on that lead hand and the jab, and just kind of safety first, I suppose, approach. I think he's taking it easy for this first couple of rounds, and then he'll kind of look to push on. But it's 2 rounds to Okolie here for my my money. Just waiting for that off of the jab, that's the overhand right, or something to come over the top from Krzysztof. Leading with the head though, we've got a replay of that. He's got to be careful not to continue to do that, otherwise he'll get Dr. Point as well. Third round. 15 seconds in. Jab to the body for Glowacki. Jab again for Glowacki. For Lawrence, sorry. Lead leg on the outside of Krzysztof, but he doesn't like throw a hook or anything, or just jabs. Very safety first approach. Everything behind that jab so far. There's a right hand pick to the body. Not up top yet. Hasn't really thrown a right hand up top, has he? There's a right hand there for Lawrence Okolie. That was a good shot. Jab again. Here's the clinch, and in the clinch, they're told to break. Dabbing at the eye there, Krzysztof Glowacki was. Has he got a bruising or a little bit of a cut? It was the right eye of Krzysztof Glowacki. Get to have a look at it. Jab down to the body again from Lawrence. Been a staple so far in the 3 rounds. There's a jab up top now. And again. That was to the body this time though. There's... Oh, walked into a right hand there. Here's the clinch. In the clinch, right hands to the body. Lawrence there stepped on the toes of Glowacki and was able to control Glowacki in the clinch. Left hook lands for Okolie. Left hook, right hand, left hook to the body from Lawrence Okolie. Stepping all over each other, these two fighters are. Ten seconds left of the 3rd round. Bit of swelling on that right eye of Glowacki. Under the eye. And he's just dabbed a lit there. Fair play to promoters and management, etc. If someone's there for the take and get your man to fight. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's good management. It's a bit shitty and the hardcore fighters can see through it. You know what I mean? Like we can. But at the end of the day, when you're trying to build your profile and you're trying to get a world title, you'll get it by any means, won't you? But that's exactly what it is. And like Last King of Scotland is, that's their job at the end of the day of it, so. A vacant world title win is still a world title win. We're getting a replay of a jab that throws the sweat off Glowacki's head in a bit of slow-mo. 4th round. Center of the ring. Jab downstairs from Lawrence Okolie. And then up top, just touching up top. Been very economical with that right hand. Throwing it to the body a lot, but not up top. Only up top a couple of times. Jab there from Lawrence Okolie. But not a lot of over-the-top shots from Glowacki either. Only seen that a couple of times. There again, up top, then down to the body. The combinations have really been set up to set the second punch down to the body. Jab up top again from Lawrence. And then steps back and then fires that jab again and then circles off to the right. Ooh, just missed with the right hand. Left hook, I think, landed there for Lawrence. I think, just. Just under 90 seconds left of the fourth. Jab there for Lawrence. And then the right hand again, down to the body. Jab goes up top, right hand goes down to the body. Then it's sometimes followed up with a left hook to the body as well. Right hand lands and he's hurt. He's hurt Glowacki there. And again, right hand lands on the chin. And Glowacki's hurt here. A minute left of this fourth round. It looks alright, to be fair, actually. He took the shot. Little bit of a stumble from him. Jab lands again, hitting the head. And again. But that's the first big dent put in Krzysztof Glowacki here. And again, the right hand. And again. Confidence in the from Shane McGuigan exuding from him. And that right hand's done the damage so far. 30 seconds left of the fourth round. He might see this through. Not in any big danger at the moment. He's kind of rode it well. But he's felt it. Big right hand down to the body. That hurt. And that eye's bleeding now. That right eye that was cut is now bleeding. That right eye that was swollen is now bleeding. 10 seconds left of the fourth. Aim's exactly right. In the history books years from now, we'll say world champion, not vacant world title. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Unless you're proper on it, which a lot of the hardcores are, but generally, you don't really remember vacant world title, this, that, and the other. And that when it comes down to the making the history, it says world title winner, not vacant world title winner. So he hasn't won it yet though. Got through a couple of good shots. Made his biggest dent on Glowacki in this last round with the right hand. But didn't choose to push too much on it. Derek Chisora's not too interested in all the action. He's looking down at his phone. Round 5. Let's see what Okolie does here. Jab there for Lawrence Okolie. Tried to counter it, Krzysztof did, but it wasn't fast enough. I think he needs to loop some shots over and take a bit of a chance. Jab to the chest there from Glowacki. Glowacki dipping low, feinting. Takes a jab again on that right eye. Jumps in with an overhand left, but Okolie sees it coming. Referee separates them in the clinch, and again Okolie with a bit of confidence there. Shrugging those shoulders of his. Foot on the outside there, now being stepped on. Now brings it out to the outside and jabs. Feints a right hand. Disengages and moves it to his right. And steps in with a jab, steps off. Jab again down to the body from Lawrence Okolie. Jab and a right-handed clinch, and the head again there from Krzysztof. Just losing a bit of calmness here. Right hand on the guard of Krzysztof. Tried to loop a left hand over. Missed. Lawrence Okolie tried to shift him off and then shoot a right hand of his own. Missed. Right hand to the body. That hit the guard of Glowacki. Jab landed though on that right eye. Right hand lands to the body from Krzysztof Glowacki. Right hand lands on the chin of Glowacki as well. With the lack of success that Krzysztof is getting, I wonder when he decides to start taking a few more risks. Lawrence Okolie is kind of controlling this, able to get off some of the same combinations over and over again on repeat and manage that distance, which has frustrated Krzysztof. Again, that jab has been landing quite easily, to be fair. Again, that jab lands again easily. And he's building on that damage to that right eye, which has a bruising and blood coming from it as well. And to be fair, Lawrence is in his rhythm. He's not really broke too much of a sweat. Bell rang and Krzysztof might have just thrown something after the bell, but no harm done, no foul there. But Lawrence really hasn't really broken a sweat, to be honest with you. He just kind of control this. He's in his element. And dictating. Sad to see this Glowacki. Was a good fighter. Tough sport is boxing. One fight too many and you end up fucked. Well, I mean, yeah, one fight too many. Hard fights in general. We Ben did a video with Tommy Hearns, and like he asked him a question about like who would win, him versus Floyd Mayweather, and you just hear Tommy's speech. He's hard to kind of understand with the speech slurring, and that's what happens in boxing sometimes. You gradually fights take out of you, especially heavy fights where you take some damage. He took some damage in that Breedis fight, especially. Even if it was an elbow, even if it was a right hand, whatever it was, and the weirdness around it, he still took some big shots in that fight, and these things happen. The same with Spilka. It was a decent enough fighter, and you saw what Chisora done to him. But you see it throughout history, really, don't you? We're in the 6th round. The corner of Krzysztof Glowacki are urging him on. But can he do it? The mind might want to, but the body might not be able to. Big right hand lands for Lawrence Okolie. And Krzysztof Glowacki might not... He might not get up from this. 8. Glowacki gets up. And he's waved him off. That's a bit... He's waved it off. Glowacki probably could have continued there. He had his back turned, but I think if the referee gave him a couple of seconds, maybe he's entitled to, maybe he's not. But he probably could have continued. But Lawrence Okolie wins by knockout over Krzysztof Glowacki in the 6th round. And you are looking at your WBO Cruiserweight Champion, Lawrence Okolie, finishing it with that right hand. And to be honest with you, a good right hand, but I just think Krzysztof Glowacki was like, don't really want it, maybe. Maybe you could say that. Yeah. I thought the stoppage... Look, I don't think it was like a devastating punch. Yes, it knocked him down, but it wasn't like the biggest of punches you've seen, right? And I thought Glowacki looked like he could continued, but even when he stepped back, he was fine on his feet. It just kind of, the body language wise, with his back turned to the referee, I don't think maybe he wanted it. Although saying that, I think the referee could have, you know, maybe gave him a couple of gave him the benefit of the doubt there. Let him turn around, had a look at him, and see if he wanted to continue. But there it is. Those are ifs and buts kind of things. Either way, the job is done after a right hand which drops down Lawrence Okolie, who was measured, who was calm, picked his shots, was able to get off the same sort of shots on Krzysztof, who was there really, like we said in the build up to this fight, there for the taking. They've seen something, they know something about it, and they've picked it right. And Lawrence Okolie picks up in picking it right the WBO Cruiserweight Championship, and the new Lawrence Okolie, the first of the Team GB crop, of that Team G crop to win. It was a good right hand, especially as he's dipping down to try and evade. But look, with him kind of like, you know, his hands on his head kind of thing. It's a good shot, but I don't think he's like done. You know what I mean? I don't think he's done, and I think he probably could have continued. But good, he's picked a good shot. He's picked a really good shot. Look, especially the dip, and he's landed it right where he's dipping. He's landed it on the chin, so that's good work from Lawrence Okolie to have picked that shot. I only needed one more round. Unlucky, mate. Ref's done you there, mate. Unlucky, pal. He's took me to the cleaners, that ref, bud. Unlucky. You win some, you lose some. World title, if I remember, surely he's got to be given a chance. Yeah. I just think that him with his back turned for that little bit long kind of made the referee make that decision, but I think he could have continued, and the ref could have been a bit more lenient there. So I agree with you. And that really was an easy fight for Lawrence. Look at his face, look at his body. There's no markings, no cuts, no bruising, no nothing. So they got it. They picked it right. Lawrence Okolie. Big night for the McGuigan gym. Fowler, Billum Smith, Lawrence Okolie. We're getting to hear his song. I think it's called Pennies or Penny Boy or something. And now his other song is playing. Free advertisement here for Lawrence Okolie. If you're into your grime, here it is. We'll just stay to hear what he's got to say. If I could, I would stay on. I would do a live reaction for Ortiz Hooker, but I can't, unfortunately. Listen, Lawrence. Listen, Last King. You've been done for 100 quid. Our fella here, our Russian friend here, has been done for $700. So it could literally be worse. The campaign cannot wait for the battle with us. 207. Okay, good luck, stream. I'm not sure what that means. The translation's a bit odd, but. There we go. Thanks for joining, I'll say to that fella. They're already calling Okolie Cruiserweight King on Skylaw. That was a bacon belt, yeah. Well, they'll big it up as much as they can, and they'll put the Listen, it's still some achievement. 16 fights in a Cruiserweight Championship. So, yes, you know, your likes of Usyk have moved on from there, and it would be a different kind of landscape if they were there. But he's got it, he's done it. So it's good management, and you've still got to get it over the line, even if Glowacki's not on the right side of his career. I thought it'd be round 7 or 8. He's got it done a little bit sooner. Last King was banking on it being 7-12. Just missed out. It was round 6 by knockout. But I know my stuff. That Russian lad was way off. Yeah. I mean, could have won a lot of money. You never know the translation. It could have been like he would have won $700 as opposed by betting on Glowacki as opposed to betting $700. The translation's a bit dodge, so you don't truly know. But either way, it's he's picked it wrong. I'll just stick around to the end of this interview. Yeah, look. Lawrence picked up from... This is adaptation in the ring. Lawrence picked up from the dip that Krzysztof Glowacki was making to evade punches. There's the dip there before. I knew it was coming again. And he shot his right hand down to that area. And he's picked it well. So, credit to him for that fight-ending shot. Yeah, Glowacki was there to be had. Good luck to Okolie. Hopefully we get some decent fights. Look, in the realm, I've missed what he said here. Yeah, so the criticism of the fight. Listen, in the realm of Lawrence Okolie fights, it was a bit more exciting than we usually see. It doesn't take too much to do that, which is a good step in the right direction, especially with a knockout at the end over someone who has won, has been a former cruiserweight champion. So, two big steps there for Lawrence. Being a bit more in an entertaining fight. It doesn't take too much for that though, and winning a world title. We'll just stick here for Eddie Hearn's comments and then we'll go. Don't forget that I will be doing a live stream for White versus Povetkin. So make sure, if you haven't as well, hit the like button, but also put your notifications on all. And I might be doing like a live stream within the week. If I can get something sorted, I'll try and do that. Also be doing live streams for Boxing News TV as well. I'll be there in the chat tomorrow for the Boxing Asylum. So if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe to the Boxing Asylum, best boxing podcast out there, in my opinion. Eddie Hearn in his grey suit combination, grey blazer, grey trousers, with the white trainers looking all fresh. It's a better touch than the Dolce & Gabbana pajamas, for sure. Masterclass is too strong. Look, he controlled Glowacki. He limited Glowacki's successes, and Glowacki only really got through with a couple of shots. And the usual Glowacki we see, we didn't really see here, but that could be for a multitude of reasons. And probably the most prominent reason is the fact that Glowacki's just done, shot to bits, washed. I'm not discrediting the performance from Lawrence Okolie because he controlled him very well, used that jab very well. Didn't fall into any traps, didn't lose any focus either, because Glowacki can still catch you and hurt you. But Masterclass is too strong. Yeah, gonna make some serious coin now. Milk it for what it's worth. Why not? He's got to. You're in just this boxing game is a short and taxing game, so. Catch you all later. Take it easy. Just take it easy, David. I'll see you next week, hopefully, for White Povetkin, yeah?
been made about the eventual step up to heavyweight, but is this cruiserweight for now, and you want to unify the division before you move up, or if the big names come, is it heavyweight next?
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like I would like to fight someone like Braden next. I think out of the challenges.
All right, fair. Look, that's the good thing about Okolie. He's calling out Bradis. So better tests are going to be there next, especially if he's wanting Bradis. So big words for Lawrence, and that's testament to the mindset of Lawrence Okolie. So credit to him there for, you know, not just kind of going out with, oh, we'll see what's next, we'll see what my management's saying. If it's there, say whatever. He wants Bradis. He called out for Bradis. If they get him, great. And that's a signal of intent for Lawrence Okolie. So off the back of winning the title, so good words.
There's a guy I want to shout out. His name's Dwyer. He's a guy on YouTube. He told me I couldn't do it, but I did. Thank you.
He shouted out that Dwyer guy. He shouted out that Dwyer guy. I've not seen a lot of this Dwyer fella. Rob Tebbett retweeted something, and he's said, I want to shout out that Dwyer guy who said I couldn't do it. I've done it. I've only seen like 2 clips of this Dwyer fella, so I don't really know who he is. But I've seen a couple of clips about him, and he's obviously watched him and gave him the big FU to that Dwyer fella. So is Dwyer a good guy, bad guy? I don't know, because I've never seen any of this Dwyer's stuff apart from the clips I've seen on Twitter from Rob Tebbett tweeting it. Take aims, bro. Catch you for the next one. No worries. Good to see you in here. Thank you so much. I was just gonna summarize before we go. So tonight we have seen on the card Brad Ray beat Lee Cutler. We have seen Ramla Ali beat Bet Connolly. We've seen Ellie Scottley beat Manglis Gangloff. We've seen Chris Billam Smith beat Vasil Dukar in a tough fight. We've seen Anthony Fowler in an impressive performance and victory against Jorge Frater. Joe Cordina in a really less than impressive win over Farouk Korbanov. And we've seen the new Lawrence Okolie beating a fighter there for the taking in Krzysztof Glowacki. But regardless of being for the taking or not, he is the new WBO Cruiserweight Champion, Lawrence Okolie from Britain. Something to be celebrated, especially with the story of Lawrence, who is an inspiration to the community around him. You know, being bullied, come through being bullied, using boxing as ways to get himself fit, and then going there to Team GB, going to the professionals, and in his 16th fight, picking up the WBO Cruiserweight Champion, building his profile, rapper, book coming out, could be that star potential with Lawrence, and this is a step towards becoming that, and he's got the job done tonight. So that's everything from me. Make sure if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button, as I have much more boxing content coming your way. I'll be here next week for White vs Povetkin. Might do something live within the week as well. But this is Ames. Thank you for joining me. Last King of Scotland, David Lawrence Graham. That Russian fella, I can't pronounce your name, I apologise. But good to see you in here. We had Aaron in here, Mabitch Drone, Emily was in here as well, my 2 friends. Amy was in here, Eric Sorrow, German fella by Raisins. Right then. Thank you so much, guys. See you on the next one.
For this young man here, you know, I love his appetite.